Hello, hello. Welcome back. After a bit of a break here, we're back, better than ever. I say better than ever, but we have a new PC. So we have a whole new dev and streaming environment. So we might have some problems. So, let me know. Let me know if anything seems off in the audio and visual world. We're using our other microphone, so that's the thing I'm most concerned about. It's the quality of this other microphone. Hey Frolansky, how's it going? How have you been the last couple of weeks? But yeah, new PC, some new stuff, pretty exciting. We're streaming, we're recording and streaming in 4K. Obviously on Twitch it's still just 1080p, so let me know if stuff's hard to see. I'm still kind of figuring out the zoom level I want on everything. I think it's okay right now though. Missed some streams? You didn't miss as many streams as you had thought, because our last stream was 11 days ago. Because we built this new PC and it involved a lot more work than I had anticipated. Getting everything back in good and ship shape. Hey Cubus, looking good? Is it sounding okay? I'm kind of concerned about this microphone. It's like a condenser mic. I have to be very careful about like the little sounds I make. It's a hot mic. Awesome. Yeah, we got some new monitors. Got one of those tall monitors over here with Twitch chat, so hopefully I'm looking up at Twitch chat right now, which is kind of cool. Now I'm looking over here at the workspace. So I've kind of got it a little more mapped to like what it appears like on screen. I'm pretty happy. But yeah, not been down. Well, we have been down, but for a good reason. Yeah, hopefully this is the setup we use for the conceivable future. Beefy new computer under the desk here. All right, let's see. So we need to work on, so we got these. We basically need to, we really haven't done anything off stream. Since we have a new beefy PC, I've been kind of enjoying that in my free time. I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, so I played that all weekend, which has been pretty great. So we're really just picking up where we left off. So nobody missed anything really, as it stands. We have kind of what we left off with in terms of, let me grab the files here. This one? We have this ridiculous chart of all the different possible face combinations as like a bit mask. And we managed to condense that into this. This is just the outlines, which is the thing that changes for this different. So we just need to, underneath these outlines, put our different tile types. So nothing too exciting right now. Kind of gonna ease back into this a little bit. Hey, look at what we've got going on in the actual project folder. Okay, so that's literally just one wall outline. Okay. How's everyone doing? Anyone been doing any jams or anything lately? Any new projects? Or even just some progress on their current projects? Oh, Cubis. That, This ISO dealio. Super cool. Haven't really had a chance to play with it much. Super cool though. 4 pixel diagonals. I'm excited to try it. I appreciate you tinkering with that. It's really awesome. You started a new long-term project for Lansky? Artist friend of yours is getting involved. Nice. Nice. All right, outlines, faces. So we need to basically start moving over these faces. We need to do one thing first. Need to get rid of the outline here. How do I want to do that? I used a different color on the top, which works when you have a top outline. But if you don't have a top outline, that implies that there's something on top. So we can use the top color for this. Doesn't really matter. But that's exciting. Were you struck by, with this long-term project, were you struck by some inspiration? Some game idea? I'm not sure it totally makes sense to have a different color on top as it does on the sides. But I think it's okay. I think it gives it a certain feeling. It's an idea you've had in the background for some time. Having done the first jam, you really wanted to sink your teeth into it properly. Oh, nice. Was it an idea you explored in the jam? Was that part of it? Because that's a great way to explore an idea. Even if you just explore part of it, like you test like one mechanic. I need to do stuff like that more. Oh, I have this in HD, or HDR, don't I? I mean, the stream isn't in HDR, but what I'm seeing is in HDR. That's a little disorienting. This should be relatively quick to do. Hopefully we don't spend the whole stream doing this. We might, honestly. We also have to do the floors. This is something I should have just done offline, but like I said, Baldur's Gate 3. The jam taught you how to achieve some of it, like some parts of GD script you didn't know, but you didn't tread too close to the actual concept. It's essentially Hollow Knight with a unique traversal mechanic. Now, that sounds cool. I mean, Hollow Knight's like a kind of a Metroid kind of game. And, you know, traversal mechanics are like the bread and butter of that kind of game, right? Of like a Metroidvania. It's all about traversal mechanics, about like gated traversal. And like how new traversal mechanics opens up the level. That's cool. It's definitely cool. Alright, save this as... go into the project file, save this as... Saving these as different files isn't great, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So wall tiles. All interior. Say XYZ. Entombed? I don't know. Or middle hull. We'd say middle hull. Middle hull. XYZ. Or we can just say middle hull. All right, what else can we get for free that have this same structure? So this one we can get. These are all the interior ones. Inner hull X, Y. It's a lot of walls. Can't stay, need to finish off work. Glad to see you're back and good luck with it. Yeah, thanks for Lansky. Thanks for hanging out. Good luck with work. Cubus. That's a lot of walls. Only the borders matter, right? Yeah. So there is a world in which we just make this a tile map, a tile set. Just the outlines, and we lay them over like a small set of these. Hey, vibing game dev. Here come the vibes. What's up? The thing is, though, if I do this just outline mode where we like overlay these outlines underneath these, that's gonna take twice as many tile maps. Like for a wall tile map, we'll need one layer of the faces and one layer of the outlines. And obviously the faces one can be pretty memory efficient because it will be very small. But I'm concerned more about swapping them out rapidly. But we do want, in the long run, we want a better solution than this. Anyway, how's it going, vibing? Haven't seen you in a minute. How you been? So, get this one for free. Actually, let's do this one first. I'm good, thanks. We took a bit of a break. I built a new PC, so this is a whole new setup. This is our first stream back. So, apologies if there are any weird little issues here. I think in the long run, we either want to go to a position where we can just have an outline layer, like once we've tested it, if we can afford to, of just having an outline layer that's superimposed over the faces. Like if we can afford to have that many different tile map layers. Or I'm gonna just have a little tool that builds these for you somehow. We'll see. We'll see what ends up being more practical. We definitely want something in the long run that's better than having so many different variations, all having their own tile sets. All right, I think that's all the freebies. We did all the ones on the left and all the ones on the right. And we have to do the ones in the middle. But we only have to do that once because we could just mirror everything. So let's do that. Grab this one. think I just saved. Unfortunate. I think I mentioned on the Discord. Actually, I know I mentioned on the Discord. But I think I know what the next game jam we're going to do is. I think it's going to be the Captain Coder solo. The Practical NPC Captain Coder team up solo solo game jam. Solo dev jam number 4. I think it is. Kind of stoked. I think that'll be fun. Doing that at the end of August. Take a long weekend to do that. Is this X or Y? This is X. $72-hour game jam. Hey, Edomoth. How's it going? Great to see you. Yeah, 72-hour game jam. We'll probably get like 24 hours around there. 24, maybe 30. I think we'll do about 6 hours a day for 4 days. Cubus says, if each color were a separate layer, then it would not account for the edge transitions either, technically. Is that true? I think we could make it work. Like, I think we could just have one tile set of all the different face combinations and one tile set of all the outline combinations. And I think that would work. Because the outlines would cover up any transition that was wrong. No, we won't. We won't draw all custom transitions for each edge connection either. Some of these are nonsensical and make no like there's like probably a good example here somewhere. Is this XZ? This doesn't feel like XZ. This feels, oh no, this is outer hull X. Let me finish what I'm doing. Outer hull X. Yeah, like all these ones. Like, this is meaningless. Like, anytime you see a face transition without an outline, this tile will never be hit. So, like, a huge number of these tiles will never be reached. So, we are wasting a lot of space. The themes are weird, you know? Yeah, I agree that I am not very excited about the themes yet. It's not like Ludum Dare, where one of the themes jumped out at me and it happened to be the theme that got chosen. Yeah, all face plus all outline combos are also an option. Covers a bit more of the transitions. Yeah. This is the safest, because it's the safest and the easiest, but yeah, I think I do want to test out whether we can just have an outline layer that gets superimposed. I want to try it. Because it would let us do other things too, where like we could have the faces be affected by lighting or something like that, or additive sprites or whatever. But we could always have the outlines come over on top and not be affected by anything. So I think there's a strong argument to have the outlines be a separate layer. I'm just not sure about the performance. Because anytime there's a camera rotation, we'll have to swap out all of the tile map layers. We'll have to have them set tiles for everything. Or we can just do... There's a number of ways we can do that. So I think I think we're just going to do it this way for now, because it's easier. I don't know. Maybe it's not easier. What's the smarter thing to do? The smarter thing to do is probably to have them be separate layers and deal with the performance problem if it comes up. Yeah, let's do that instead. Let's forget about it. Say wall tile outlines. So we'll have a wall tile outlines. Where did I save this? Okay, good. This is going to be 128 by 128. I changed my PC file structure in a way that seems very helpful, where everything that's not part of like the Git project is now just in a mirrored Google Drive. Since I now have like multiple development machines, seems good. And I know we could do your trick here, Cubus, of just merging, of importing and exporting everything. But this is such a small number, it's just 4x4. I'm just going to do this by hand really quick. I don't want to get yelled at for my inefficient workflow again. I do need to fix these because I need to take the outlines out of them anyway. Related XKCD1205. Let's see it. How long can you work on making a routine task more efficient before you're spending more time than you save? I love it. How often you do the task? This is beautiful. And this captures the one truth of this process, which is if you only do the thing once, don't make it more efficient. Also, what does the tagline say? Don't forget the time you spend finding the chart to look up what you save. True. And the time spent reading this reminder about the time spent. And the time spent trying to figure out if either of those actually makes sense. Remember, every second counts towards your life goal, including these right now. Oh no. I'm gonna remember this because my day job, like a huge portion of my day job is spent just doing this. Just increasing my workload by automating away other parts of my workload. It's too funny. I see an argument for why we won't do it this way, though. I just realized why we wouldn't want to do it this way. So, here's the argument. Need to grab another file. This will do. So, here, let's grab a really good example. So, this is the tile who has a neighbor on this side. You can tell because it's missing part of the outline. So this is the left side of a 2 or more panel face. So you have a panel here, and then let's say this actually looks like this is the middle panel. No, it's not. These are all left panels. So these are all left panels. If we go down, maybe we can find one of the other panels. I actually don't know how this orders, but you can imagine we have multiple panels. Like we have 1, 2, 3 or more panels all in a row. 3 is kind of the sweet spot. So there's a left panel, a middle panel, and a right panel. You can have different detail on each of those panels. And if we just do it like this, if we just organize it like this, that doesn't make any sense. So the nice thing about doing it this way, it is tedious in that we have to set up the tile set. We have to find all of the left panels and put them in here. Which is going to be tedious AF, honestly. But then we just have that logic. Otherwise, we need to, like, we have this logic here, just coded into the outline system. But, I mean, we know this number separately. So we could build it into this, but then we're basically making the same thing again. Yeah, Unhappy. Back to doing it this way. I need a better way of visualizing that from like an asset creation standpoint. That's maybe a challenge. This may be a problem for another day. Got X, so we want X. Got X and XZ. We want inner X and inner XZ. So these we can just mirror and get the flipped version of it. So yeah, this is space inefficient, but I don't think that really, I don't think that really matters for a pixel art game. I don't think it really matters to be space inefficient. But I am unhappy with how this is gonna slow down our asset creation. I probably want a version of this that almost has like a normal map painted on it, but like not a normal map, more like maybe a palletized, like all of this logic, but maybe palletized. I don't know. Use a color coding system. Not sure. Might just end up referring to this a lot when I'm making a new piece and assembling them. We'll see. So these ones, these all we need to... Can I just flip the whole... No, I want to flip the faces, not the outlines. Grab the whole thing. Save it. This is outer hull Y. Same thing here. Okay, we have all of them now. I think I messed one of them up though, and I don't remember which one. It's one of the earlier ones. Thought I saved over one of them. Yeah, it was this one. Okay. Fix this real quick. So yeah, so for one like this is actually possible. We could hit every single one of these indexes. If the walls are the same color, we can hit all of these. These are all relevant. But if the walls are different colors, I feel like less than half of these are valid. So a subtle difference. Is there a difference there at all? No. That's wrong. Correct this. There we go. Now we have to do the same thing for floors. Woo. All right, that wasn't so bad. Can do it again. Without much issue. Oh, what? There we go. Forgot some little artifacts from the outlines I needed to get rid of. Minor setback. I keep imagining a better way to lay this out, and I just end up back in the same place. Because if we want to be complete and consistent, we end up with this. This horrible monster. Now, there is a world in which we laid each of these faces out individually, each of the individual faces out, and that would be simpler. But again, we'd end up drawing everything 3 times as often. So, is that simplicity worth the increased draw counts? I don't know. I don't know. God, before I know it, we're gonna have like an art asset creation tool inside of the game. For making walls. Should be ridiculous. But it might happen. We'll see. We need something better. But this is going to be good enough to start. Alright, let's be very careful with the save button. Four tiles. Middle hall. Oh, nuts. Thought this would look wrong. Thought there was something wrong here. And there was. And I just wasted a bunch of time. I was like, why does this all look like the same color? That doesn't seem right. It wasn't supposed to be the same color. Like XKCD says, every second counts in your total life. Whatever. I like have to sneeze, so obviously I'm like incapable of doing so at the moment. Keep trying to mute to like give myself a moment to sneeze, and it's like, nah. Nah. There we go. Now we can start substituting these layers out, or these different face combos. So this is inner hull Z. This is outer hull Z. Feels like one of those problems I'm going to think about for a long time and then eventually come up with something. Getting faster though. Okay, that's all of those. So now it's time to go to this. All right, well, we've only used about half our time today, and we're almost done, so that's good. The bad news is I have no idea what I'm going to do after this. That's what happens when you take a couple weeks off. Now we're gonna do something with auto tiling. What is this? This is inner hull X. That's it. Becoming enough. Becoming large enough that I think we want like folders. Start utilizing a folder structure here. Oh shoot, I didn't export any of them. They're just the A-Sprite files. Now I gotta do that. Can I open all of these? Yes. Macro would be pretty cool. Right about now. All right. Just move some files around real quick. Probably make my file size, my file explorer size bigger, make it easier to see. Hey, Fody, how's it going? Okay. We're still working on we're doing some pretty stupid stuff to get our auto tiler working. How are you doing? Stupid isn't necessary, but not very elegant. That is exactly it. We have these different tile types. They're basically our different tile types, the core tile types, and then we have our outlines. Which is all the different possible combinations. And we've basically bashed them all together to make just an endless number of these. Oh, the selected file doesn't exist. Because I moved them to make just like every possible combination. So we just have a stupid number of tile sets now. Not great, not elegant. I guess I could have made it one massive file instead of a bunch of different files. Yeah. But it's to capture all of this. And so it's space inefficient, but it's going to be really easy to reason about. But the other problem that we're running into is it's going to be really annoying to make new assets for it. So, I don't know. It's what we're doing for now, but we're really going to need a better solution in the future. Because now I have to build a tile set for this. How are you doing? Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I'm like trying to finish the last few bites of my breakfast. My problem is if I don't finish my breakfast when the stream starts, I just don't get to it. How are you doing? How are you doing, Vody? All right. Oh, I asked you that. Good. Okay. You had some downtime this afternoon. You started prototyping a simple maths puzzle from your infinite to-do list of ideas. Nice. That's fun. I don't have a list of game ideas. Everyone's always telling me, I'll like listen to someone streaming or something, Usually it's like a famous game developer or something, and they're like, well, you know, I have a spreadsheet that's just got like an endless number of game ideas that I'll never have time to do. And I'm like, man, I don't have those. I don't think enough about different games I could make. All right, so what do we need to do now that we have this really stupid system? We need to look at our tile sets. Grid outlines. Default ship tile set. Okay, so this is what we had. Door tiles. This is the new one, right? Which one's this one using? Old ship tile set. Okay. So I'm trying to be very careful not to like break anything in case anyone stops by and is like, what are you doing? What are you working on? He says, trying to run this. I need to turn HDR off when I start streaming. Because what I'm seeing on my screen right now is very different than what I'm seeing on the stream. You have a bad habit of writing down a bunch of random stuff, usually while under influence. Yeah, fair. Most of them will just stay there, yeah. Yeah, breaks everything. That's typical. I'm trying to be really good about that. I've done that in the past where I'm like in the middle of a refactor and I break everything and then nothing is playable for like weeks, days or weeks. That is unacceptable to me nowadays. All right, so we need to make a new tile set. The easiest way to do that. So wait, what's this default one? This is the one I've been working on. Maybe we use this one. Make it big. So this is basically what we wanted. It's just a much... Oh, this was my initial attempt. Okay, so here's the problem. We are gonna now need a metric ton. Maybe I did want them to be all mashed together into one big atlas. Gets rated, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just git commit in between and have a second project on that state to pop open for raids. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Or an export. Yeah, once we get to the point where we can export builds, we don't have to worry about this as much anymore. Like a boss key. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're actually going to break our logic. So we actually have logic here that is going to be broken if we go about it this way. So right now we have a system. It's this system, get tile source ID. So it's our system for getting the source ID. And it basically just has 3 sources. Why is that? Let me try to understand my historical. So it looks to see what neighbors it has. It says, do you have a neighbor along the x-axis? Is that neighbor outside? If so, this is your source ID. And then it does the same thing. It says, we're going by 3s, which is interesting. So we're gonna need to switch to like some kind of match case. Because we basically have a different tile set for every possible combination of whether you have a neighbor above you, in front of you to the left, or in front of you to the right. And whether that neighbor is outside or not. I'm unhappy with the way that we've organized this. I'm like trying to reconcile it with this system in my head. Quote unquote, go back to the drawing board here for a second. So there's really no way to get around this, is the thing. This is really as simple as it can get, this enormous thing, in terms of being complete and capturing every possible neighbor combination. We can kind of try to drill down a little more precisely than this to like the level of this. That's not great in a number of ways. It's an awkward size. It's 16 by 28. I mean, this one's fine because this is 32 by 8. I like operating on this the size of a block rather than operating on an individual face. I guess if the complexity is in the source ID switch statement, that's fine. You can keep the full block size per tile and what, just waste a bunch of space. So only have one side as a full tile. Yeah, I see what you mean. That would certainly simplify placement. That would certainly simplify placement. Huh. Is that better? Let's just mess around for a minute. I mean, I don't want to throw away all the work we've done so far, but I despise this from a asset, a content iteration pipeline standpoint. And obviously we're spending most of our time at this phase of development on systems design. Yeah, wasted space in tiles is hella negligible. Concur. I agree. Which is why I didn't mind having there be like a bajillion tile sets. But honestly, the number of tile sets is a problem. But the bigger problem is just in terms of asset creation. What you want ideally is you basically want... Just grab something so I don't have to start from zero. So you've got this wall, which is one size. Gameplay prototype when? 2 nerdy nerds. You're like the devil on my shoulder. Game prototype someday. Gameplay prototype someday. We're struggling with our auto tiler still. So ideally what you would want is you'd say something like, this is the left tile. Actually, we didn't use this color for this, did we? We used this color. This is the wall on the left. So it's got a hard edge here. And then if it's got another tile next to it, this is like the middle child here, the middle tile. That's open on both ends. And then this is the one on the right. It's probably really hard to see considering the colors I picked for this. Let me pick better colors. That's not better. Damn this transparent background. How's it going, tuner nerds? There we go. That's seeable. That's visible. Bernardo with the whip. Yeah, seriously. You missed a bunch of really tedious work this morning, Bernardo. Just looking out for your sanity. I know, but this is also looking out for my sanity, because we basically came up with an auto tiling process that is good along certain dimensions. One dimension it is not going to be good along is asset creation. It's going to be a huge pain in the asset, pain in the asset to make new assets. So we're not happy with that. It's basically coming up with a whole one of these, because this has two components. This has the outlines. There's just purely the outlines, which is like, I have this exported somewhere. I want to find my export of this so I can bring it up on screen. Here it is. So we have this, and this is a complete description of the possible neighbor components as a bit mask. And this is awesome. Pain in the asset, yeah. Yeah, seriously, it is a Freudian slip. So this describes the system completely, but if you just naively grab it, and turn it into a tile set, you get what we had here. So this is just the outlines. The simplest thing to do, though, is then to take, here's our like 16 possible faces, essentially, our face types. And you just throw them in there, and you just have one of these for every one. And that's really stupid. The problem, though, is this. So, like I said, if you have a left tile, and a middle tile, and a right tile, and these tiles have some details on them, you want the left tile to be able to match up with that tile, or you want it to be able to go over here and meet up with the right tile. So you need this ability, and if you want to do this with this, you have to literally place those tiles exactly where they're supposed to be. So the system accounts for it, but actually creating these art assets would be such a huge pain that I do not want to do that. And there's 16 of these. So we're unhappy. So we're trying to rethink how to do this a little better. That is every possible combination of all the tiles. Could you place the tiles on an overlaying layer? Yes, I probably could. So that's kind of what we're more thinking about doing, is different ways to do that. The way that we're currently thinking about it here is if we take each face and break them apart and combine them together. So we only have to operate on the individual face. It does mean having 3 tile layers for each block, which isn't great. But it would allow you to make changes to just one face without having to swap out the whole thing. And it would make it easier to create these assets because you could combine them more. You wouldn't have to have all of them hooked up together. You can't spell Cartesian product without art. Yeah. So I'm thinking of doing something more like this, which you could get as crazy as possible. So I guess what we would do is we'd move these over like this. Oh, not quite that far over. This one would be the one by itself. And so you would draw the tile by itself, the left tile, the open-ended middle tile, and then the right tile. And then these, and then you'd only need 4. You wouldn't need like a bajillion. So, yeah, I think that's definitely cleaner. So gameplay will definitely work with this isometric setup, right? Look, I have had previous prototypes. I've prototyped out the pathfinding. I've prototyped out the movement. Gotta have a little faith. Taking a leap of faith. That's the hardest part about solo dev, honestly, is if you put something down to go work on something else, nothing is happening with that other thing. That other thing is just static. So you really got to leave things in good states when you move on to the next task, and you got to believe that it'll still be the right thing when you come back to it. So yes, there's an element of that for sure. I'm reasonably confident that we've solved the visibility system with this cutaway. Is it the best cutaway system? No. Do I need to figure out what to do about the doors? Do I not like the transparent doors? Yes. But I believe we've largely addressed the visibility problem. I fundamentally believe that moving characters around the ship to do tasks is fun. If that assumption turns out to be untrue, we will have to rethink the whole thing. But I would say that there's some evidence that that's the case. So we'll see. This is my slow burn project. Like, we have no illusion that this project is going to take forever. That is not an assumption. That is a design decision. Yeah, I've decided it's going to be fun. If it needs to be fun, you need to make it fun. I see. Yeah. So we're okay plunking away at this in a way that's very slow and meandering. I'm struggling to remember the times before we discovered game jams, because that was at that point we only had this. We only had these slow meandering projects. We didn't have anything. But we are doing a bit of jamming. Like, our next jam we've decided is going to be this solo dev game jam number 4, which is 24 days away. It's put on by Practical NPC and Captain Coder. And I'm pretty excited. It's a 72-hour jam. So who knows? Who knows what'll happen? We'll do that. It'll be fun. Maybe we get another project we work on for a couple months. Maybe we don't. Maybe we make shit. Maybe we make something so incredible that we just switch to making that the main game. I don't know. I'm just trying to be flexible. You just put it in your calendar too. Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. I'm a very process-oriented person. Ludum Dare is 66 days away. That's scary because we have that after. We have to do that after. That can't be right. That can't be right. August, September. Oh shoot, you're right. It's 66 days. All right. Yeah, so we're jamming all the time, so I don't know. Do you need more excuses, Bernardo? Do I need to summon more excuses as to why we don't have a gameplay prototype operational? I've got more. I still haven't finished polishing my last game jam game. I am loving jamming, though. I think it's great. It's giving me a lot of practice that I don't get doing my main project. But there's aspects of the main project that I don't get when I'm jamming, like this very meandering architectural thinking of just trying a process over and over and over again until we're happy with the outcome. So here's the additional complexity. Let's make a grid so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. There we go. I think realistically we'd actually flip these. We'd have left, right, or maybe it would be left, right. There's just 2 bits to describe this state. We also need to worry about the up and down. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate that. LD 5th of October, or the 4th or something. Maybe 5th. Probably right. Fourth, I think. Well, I guess it depends on your time zone, doesn't it? For me, it starts at 3 p.m. on the 4th of October. LD Jam. GodotCon. Where is GodotCon this year? It's in Germany, isn't it? That'd be cool. I think this is too short. Can we make this not tall enough? No, that doesn't make any sense. Berlin. Okay. Last one was Munich. Oh, so it's like always Germany, huh? Managed to snatch a card before they sold out. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, that's not really practical for me. But that's really cool. I'm spoiled enough. I get GDC in my backyard. Can't have it all. Yeah, I made these too short. But this is I'm ideating here. This is my idea. How to do this differently. Go face by face. It would be left. That's awesome. I was thinking about going to PAX West, but that would have been too much. Especially with these jams, all these jams happening. I am not a wealthy man. That is what I get for working part-time so that I can pursue game development. So much work to do outside of work. Yeah, exactly. I also have Baldur's Gate 3 I've been working through. That's been really fun. I did that like all weekend. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, that's right. So this is accounting for all the neighbor combinations for a given face. This allows for some pretty large... Basically, the largest continuous surface that makes sense with this system is 3. So we'll need to figure out something else to do with hallways, but maybe it is... Maybe we will do something more around like overlays. Maybe we'll have more of an overlay system. So the more interesting details are all overlaid. This is kind of... Let's get this back into the AceWrite files. Split faces. And so this would take 2, 3, 4. No, 2, 4. Oh no, this is just a bit. This is just a bit. So it'd be 4 bits for this. We could do that with 4 bits. Is there a way to do it more efficiently when you account for the other sides? Yeah, plus 1 bit to mirror. Yeah, that's something like that might work. And then you would need 2 more bits for the top. So you could do it with 7 bits. And we'd have an extra one in there for something. Yeah, true. Bit counts don't matter if you stay in int size. Always the same size in Godot. That's true. I was thinking that I was going to pack everything down into byte arrays for storage, for like configuration storage, because this information isn't going to change at runtime. This is like, well, I mean, I say runtime, quote unquote. This isn't going to change like during the game. This would only change when you're in the editor. So you could pack everything down. But maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe you'd spend more time encoding and decoding a byte array and you could just not care and treat it all as like a... I mean, you could still decode the byte to an int and just use an enum to figure it out. So this is nice because this has the outline information packed into it. We don't need separate layers. So you need 3 layers to render this, but you would need 2 if you did the separate outline and faces layers. So it's only like 50% more than the split outline and faces layer. It's a lot more than the you know, that every single tile type gets this huge fucking monster. Interesting. It's an interesting idea. I know this is like incredibly boring to watch, so I appreciate those who are hanging out still. Once we actually get to the gameplay prototyping, this will be a lot more exciting. Sorry, I'm just thinking about how I want to arrange this atlas. Probably just lay this out as 16 and then lay this out as another 16, so make it 16 by 16. And then we can use the tile type as like the y-axis and the tile neighbor count, whatever you want to call this, the neighbor bits, as the x-axis, and we just get a nice clean 16 by 16. Probably the easiest way to do this. So we'd say something like, so we need 512 by 512, something like that. Oh wait, we actually don't have 16 of these because it's just the left face. We don't actually just export a 3-dimensional sprite, 4 even, 1 axis per side. I'm gonna try to think. I'm gonna try to understand what you're saying here. Just export a 3-dimensional sprite, 4 even, 4 even. Oh, 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions even. 1 axis per side. I see. You mean per like dimension? Interesting. The other question is whether we want to just straight mirror things, or if we'd want them to be different, left versus right. Like if we'd want to just have the one set and mirror them. I'm not convinced of that, but I'm also not convinced of that. Like you wouldn't want panels. Like let's say you have a door and you have the panel on the right side of the door. You would have the panel on the right side of the door. You wouldn't just mirror it because it was the opposite side. Then the input vector 4D corresponds to each top, bottom, left, or right. Too bad that doesn't exist. Vector 4. Vector input vector 4D. Yeah. Yeah. Vector 4D. Yeah. Yeah. That would work. I mean, yeah, it doesn't exist, but I don't know. This seems very doable. I just need this is one of those, I'm paying for the fact that I'm not doing a lot of work off stream thinking about this stuff. So we don't actually need it to be like this. Because there actually isn't, like I said, there isn't actually that many of these. There's this, there's the interior, or there's the middle, the interior, the exterior. I mean, I guess there could be 4. Right now there's 3. I mean, there could be a lot. It's kind of up to you, I guess, how many different surfaces you make for your given ship. Our system just has 3 because it's using, like... Cubus redeemed, sit down, stand up. Oh, you monster. I'm like about to finish. I'm like 10 minutes away. There's like 15 minutes left of the stream and you redeem the thing that takes 15 minutes. All right. I'm actually not sure my green screen is going to operate correctly with this new setup. So this is a good test. Are there any cables being ripped out? Oh, is the green screen doing okay? It is. Oh, look at that. Well, we had to test this at some point, so thank you. All right. Yeah. The camera stops before the green screen does. That's nice. Stream quality has been elevated. Yeah. It's this new camera. I mean, it's not new. I've had it for a little while, but it's like, it has like a really tight field of view. Which just made it really easy to just like narrow in on my face without capturing all the shit going on in the background. The green screen can't really cover. All right, so let's look back at how we do the source ID partitioning. So we don't actually necessarily need to do it this way. This would actually maybe be more like become part of the Atlas coords. We did it this way for a reason. I don't remember what the reason was. But we're basically checking to see if it has a neighbor. We're checking to see if that neighbor is outside. Or we're checking to see if there isn't a neighbor and if that neighbor is outside. Tile.w. What is tile.w? It's the fourth. That level? No, it's layer, isn't it? Okay, so we're doing the layer. So layer plus 6, layer plus 3. Okay, I see, I see. Because we have floor and wall and door. So why is it plus 6? I don't remember why this is the way that it is. That's great. Let's look at this. See if I can make sense of it. This is 0, so floor is 0. Wall is 1. Oh, it's because there was a cutaway that was a separate layer from the walls. This seems like it's not relevant anymore. To the window to the wall? Yeah. If only someone wrote comments. Yeah, well. I like to write comments for code that has matured and is unlikely to change significantly. So I did not do a good job of walking away from that particular task in such a way that I could come back to it and have any idea what's happening. So that's fine. So yeah, let's keep looking at this as individuals. So we don't need this much at all. We need way less than this. I guess we can leave room for expansion. Let's undo all this that we did. There we go. We actually only need 3 copies of this. Actually, what if there were wall variations like windows? Then you'd have to add all those combinations again for each of them. Oh my god, you're right. So yeah, splitting these up per face is probably, in the long run, the best thing to do. Yeah, collecting them together into these complete cubic bodies is in the long run not good. So yeah, good point. Good point. Photo, you do the same. You only write comments for hard to read stuff that is there to stay. One of the advantages of solo deving. Yeah, it is in a way. There's also a disadvantage in that if you forget what it does, you can't just ask your coworker, like, what does this obscure ass code do? You have to figure it out on your own. Which it does sometimes come up anyway, like maybe the person that wrote the code doesn't work there anymore or whatever. There's lots of reasons why you still have to just figure it out on your own, but... Alright. Okay, so let's program for expandability. Let's presume that we will get... So what I'm thinking is that each tile set is basically going to be a style, like a ship's style, and it will come with a whole bunch of wall tiles and a whole bunch of floor tiles and stuff like that. And so you aren't going to mix and match different styles. You will just... These will be all the different wall or panel types. Because, yeah, we might very well have windows and stuff, like Cuvis said. Reduce the latency, reduce the fancy, increase the game gets finished. You write comments for hard to understand stuff, and it won't stay. And if it won't stay, I write one when it will be when it will be going. Ah, I see. Yeah. All right, we're basically out of time today. I'm gonna redo the stuff that I undid. We're gonna use this as kind of our archetype here. Okay, it doesn't remember this. That's weird. So we can do it like this, basically. And it'll be just 1, 2, 4. Eight. It's gonna be a little weird. We'll have to convert some values, but it'll make sense. It'll make some sense. So let's make. We only need 3 of these right now. I mean, I could arguably put the walls and the floors all on one sheet. Just maybe the better way to do it. Just have one tile atlas per style, and then have the different tile set layers just look at different parts of it. And then, yeah, I guess it is still a question of whether we want to just mirror stuff. It would certainly be simpler. This is like the middle. I'm actually not sure what order we want these to be in. Say middle. Kind of want the interior to be on the inside. So interior. Actually, I guess we want the exterior to be first. Like this. Visually, that's pleasing to me. Maybe that's not the way we want to do it. It'll be like this. I guess it'll be arbitrary, is what it's going to be. Deeply arbitrary. Interior. This is way too big. I guess we'll do mirror for now, just to simplify everything. Like we'll let the walls just be either or. In which case, I think I actually want them to be x-axis by default. So I'll just flip these. Oh, I actually don't like that. Why don't I like that? For some reason I find this more pleasing when viewing them in isolation. Okay, well, I'm out of time. This has been fun. I gotta run. I appreciate everyone hanging out for our debut return here. It's probably going to take us a little while to get our momentum back up, and then before we know it, we're going to be into another game jam in like 3 weeks. So that's just kind of how it is. But always appreciate it. Cubus, Fody, Bernardo, everyone hanging out. I got a jam, but I will see you all tomorrow. And hopefully we're back on a good streaming schedule after that. So until next time, goodbye.